Hey guys, going to be showing off some test hands for the Dark Spirit custom support. The Dark Spirit archetype is the combination of the Destiny board and Dark Necrofear series. Here we go. Opening up with Sphere Message and the Portrait Sphere, the Gross Ghost of Fled Fear's Allure of Darkness, and Fear the Necro. Alright, okay. So, let's start off with Allure of Darkness. See if we can grab... I'll banish that baby Necrofear, activate the other allure. And banish the Puppet Fear Master. Alright. So one of the better openings for the deck is the Gross Ghost of Fled Fears, because on summon you can send a Fiend monster from your hand or deck to the grave, and if you do, you can normal summon one Fiend Fear monster in addition to your normal summoner set. So we will send the... Let's send the baby Necrofear. And when the baby Necrofear hits the grave from anywhere, it can activate Dark Sanctuary from our grave or deck, so we'll do that. Now we have that additional normal summon. Do that to summon the Portrait Fear. On summon, grab a Fear the Necro from our deck, which is a searcher in its own right. And we have two of them, and they don't have any limitation on the number you can use, so we'll use both of those to grab a Dark Spirit card each. One will grab the Dark Spirit Store, one will grab Dark Spirit's Mastery. To activate Dark Spirit's Mastery, pitch card to add Destiny board or a level 8 Fiend monster from our deck or grave to the hand. We've already gone through two of the baby Necrofear, so the only targets remaining are that baby Necrofear in the grave or Dark Necrofear in our deck or Destiny board. So let's grab Destiny board. So, a couple of things that you can do here now. You can either activate the Dark Spirit Store only and then pass to your opponent. And the reason you'd want to do this is to hold on to the F in your hand so that on your ensuing turn you can use Dark Spirit's Mastery to return all three cards to your bottom of your deck to get 3 draws. And the Dark Spirit Store is a soft floodgate on both players where each player can only attack with 1 monster per turn and can only activate 1 monster effect on the field per turn, as long as you have a Necrofear monster in your grave. Or if you wanted to, you can also set Destiny board and start to get that going. And the reason I'd recommend doing that is because we have 2 Fear the Necros in our grave. And when we have Fear the Necro in our grave while Dark Sanctuary is up, it gains this additional effect where if a face-up spell or trap you control would be removed from the field by an opponent's card effect while you control Dark Sanctuary, you can banish this card from your grave instead. So that basically means that we can block 2 attempts from our opponent to get rid of either of our cards here, the Dark Spirit Store, Destiny board, or Dark Sanctuary. And that'll allow us to maintain our Destiny board so that in our opponent's end phase, we can grab the next Spirit Message Eye. And so in our opponent's end phase, we will have to, for the maintenance cost of Dark Spirit Store, banish a Fiend monster from our grave. We can banish, that's the only one that we can banish, but you can always banish the Necrofear monster that's sitting in your grave to essentially turn off the Dark Spirit Store. So that going into your turn, now you can activate as many monster effects on the field as you want and attack with as many monsters as you want. So let's go into our next turn, and now we'll activate that Dark Spirit Graveyard effect, banish it to send 2 of our Spirit Messages from our grave and hand to the bottom of our deck and draw the same number of cards. Alright, now we have our backup option, which is the Dark Spirit's Calling. So, let's see. If our opponent has a monster on the field, what we can do now is activate that Change of Heart, take control of a monster, place it, let's say here, say that's their monster. Send the Gross Ghost of Fled Fears to the grave to link summon the Dark Spirit's Link. So the Dark Spirit's Link, when it is link summon, you can send the monster that it points to the grave. And if that is our opponent's monster, which we are saying it is because it was taken by Change of Heart, you can place a Spirit Message card from your hand, deck, or grave into your spell trap zone. Since we have Dark Sanctuary, we can also place it as a monster. So let's grab the last of the messages. And just to explain that for those who aren't familiar, Destiny board places the Spirit Messages in order of I and AL. So when you have effects like Dark Spirit's Link, Sentence of Doom, or Ecto Spirit that can expedite the process, you always want to go backwards with those cards. Because if I were to have placed the N next, then Destiny board would get stuck because it's looking to place the N on the board, and since it I'm only running one, I wouldn't be able to place another one, and then I wouldn't be able to get to A and L. So I'm going to place the last one on the board so that on my opponent's turn, Destiny board will then place N, and then I will only need to get A on the board. But more importantly, now we have 3 messages on the board. We have Gross Ghost of Fled Fear's Banish effect from the grave, where you can banish it to target a card that is banished and add it back to your hand. We're going to grab back a Baby Necrofear. And there's a number of things that we could have grabbed back. But the reason I'm grabbing back the Baby Necrofear is because I want it live just in case I need to use my backup option, Dark Spirit's Calling, which I'll explain in a second. Baby Necrofear can be summoned by sending either of our Fiend monsters to the grave or banishing them. Let's send that Dark Spirit's Link to the grave. It's made use of that. And special summon the Baby Necrofear. So again, we have an ability to take control of an opponent's monster by tributing this. When the Baby Necrofear hits the grave, Dark Spirit Store becomes live, making it so that our opponent can only activate 1 monster effect on the field per turn. And they can only attack once per turn, which works very well with Dark Sanctuary because that attack might be negated if the coin toss is heads. So we would be able to negate the attack, and Dark Spirit Store will prevent them from declaring any more attacks. All the while in our opponent's end phase, we would get the next spirit message, that being N. And just in case our opponent is able to get through our 2 Fear the Necros and get rid of our Destiny board, we can use Dark Spirit's Calling to banish it and the Necrofear monster in our grave to bring out our backup win condition, the Dark Spirit. Let's just see how our next turn would have gone, which that's a pretty good draw actually, because you activate that on your opponent's turn. Let's say this would have been summoned as a monster. Set that activated on our opponent's turn, send it to the grave right away, and place the final spirit message on the board. So that is the Dark Spirit archetype with custom support. So as you can see, there is this deck, kind of like how Bakura plays it, there is a lot of setup that goes into place, and this deck is very non-linear. There's a lot of different moves that you can make depending on the cards that you send to the grave, the cards that you want to special summon, the cards that you want to search out. So there are a number of ways to go about it, but again, the ultimate goal is to either assemble Destiny board, or if that falls through, then using the Dark Spirit to banish the messages to win that way as well. And as you can see, we were able to assemble it by, I believe that would be our opponent's 3rd turn. And the deck has a lot of disruption as well through cards that take your opponent's monsters, such as Baby Necrofear's Quick Effect, Change of Heart, and Change of Fear, and some of these other generic cards like Snatch Steal as well. So that's it. All these cards are now available for public use on Dueling Book, and be sure to like and subscribe as we get into another Bakura deck coming up next week.